So, Mike, it's a great conversation. We can talk about e-commerce, history, future all day long. So, let's get to know you a little bit. Tell us take us back to the beginning. Where did you grow up, and your ideas to get into technology? When did you start to show signs for that?
Yeah, it's funny. So I moved around a bit as a kid, but I would say I grew up most formatively in a town called Long Beach on Long Island, little kind of fishing and bar town, about 45 minutes outside of Manhattan. It was a great place to be a kid, right? I was like, 5 minutes from the beach. I could hop on the Long Island Railroad to the A train and be in the city in an hour. It was almost like an old school town where kids still kind of played like stickball and stuff. So certainly a pretty cool place to grow up and go to high school. Professionally, I started my career actually as a newspaper reporter for a little bit. That
Which
business
one?
is a very, very tough one. Chicago Tribune,
Ah,
right out of school. So I ended up working in technology. I went to work at LinkedIn, spent a couple of years there, and then went to work at an e-commerce software startup. So that's how I got into this business, which I've been into sort of for the better part of a decade now, at various e-commerce tech companies. And then, on the foreign brand side, managing a portfolio of brands. So kind of a serendipitous kind of career. And I think it was fun, right? I think like one good sort of quote about sort of careers that I saw from Derek Thompson at The Atlantic is that, sort of your 20s should just be for exploring, and then your 30s should be for doubling down on what it is you're actually freaking good at. That's kind of what I did, right? I worked at, four different startups in three or four different industries as a younger guy. And now I sort of have zeroed in on this intersection of commerce and media and technology is where I want to spend my career. And that's sort of what I plan to do.
what got you into becoming a newspaper
Yeah, it
reporter?
was kind of, it's funny. Like, I wish I could say that it was this sort of lifelong dream or whatever. The reality is, Northwestern was probably where I went to college, was probably the best school I got into that gave me a lot of financial aid, and their best program was journalism.
Oh,
And I just decided to give it a shot, right? And not just that, like I thought it would be just like fun from a college perspective rather than sitting in a classroom and doing an academic major to sort of be out in Chicago reporting on stories and writing and stuff like that. But no, it was funny. Most of the people that I went to school with, because it was a sort of well-known journalism school, had wanted to go there since they were, 10 years old. And I was there. I was like, well, they're giving me a lot of financial aid and this sounded cool. So that's what I'm going to do. But no, that's kind of been like, and that's microcosmic, I would say, of my career. Like very little of what I've done has been some sort of grand plan. I've tried to just kind of take the most interesting opportunities as they come, and tried to be as nimble and flexible as possible. Um, which is, how I got into this e-commerce roll-up space and how we decided that we were going to take a tool that was originally going to be used internally and sell it as external software, and spin it out into its own company, which we did. So that's generally kind of it's been a lot of happy accidents, I would say, my sort of professional journey.
no, I
Um,
think I think you have a good nose for smelling opportunity because
yeah,
they give benefit for journalism. You get into
yeah.
it, and then you see your e-commerce. Oh, that's going places. You get into it.
Well, it's funny that the really too. So when I left LinkedIn, the software company that I went to work for was a personalization and conversion rate optimization tech. One of their Series A investors was the New York Times. The original product was a media personalization engine. So it was kind of, this is really nerdy, but in the 80s at the MIT Media Lab, there was this idea to build the personalized newspaper, right? So like a newspaper that would dynamically adapt depending on your interests. Um, this company was kind of a version of that. It was all about media personalization and trying to show you the most relevant news and everything. That is a very hard business. It will not shock a lot of people to know. So the week that I joined, the company pivoted to becoming a product recommendation and A/B testing platform for e-commerce. And I was like, okay. So that was part of the reason I got into e-commerce SaaS. I thought I was joining more of this like yield optimization platform for media. Ended up being a lot more commerce focused, which ended up being much more intellectually fascinating anyway. Um, and I think that's just kind of how it goes, right? Like some people will get lucky and they'll stumble into what they were meant to do super early in life. Some people like myself, I think, will kind of bounce around and try different things and try to chase opportunity where it comes. And for me, that's what's energizing and fun.
Well, there is a saying, the first time you're lucky, second time is a coincidence, three is a trend. So I think you, I think you are a trend maker. So I think you are moving in the direction where you've got a good nose, and then you can see what is going to be a good thing, and then you jump on the bandwagon. I think that's the way I see it. I think it's very good judgment calls you've made all this time.